As Tom Perez, chairman of the Democratic National Committee in the National Archives of Records and Administration in July 1st of 2014, once said, "Our economy and our workforce are strongest when we embrace diversity to its fullest, and that means opening doors of opportunity to everyone, and recognizing that the American dream excludes no one." Listening to my speech will help you understand who Tom Perez is and how he will influence the next election. As you can see, this is Tom Perez. In this speech, I will talk about who Tom Perez is. Thank you. Talk about who Tom Perez is. There are three major topics that I want to talk about relating to Tom Perez. First, I want to talk about how he became part of the government and his education. Second, I want to focus on his work as Secretary of Labor. And third, I want to talk about how his new position as the chairman of the Democratic National Committee will play an impact in our lives. All right, so first, I want to talk about his background and education. So Tom Perez, born Thomas Edward Perez, to a Dominican Republic family, the youngest of 5 children. At the age of 12, he lost his father to a heart attack and dedicated his life to public service. He went on to graduate from high school from an all-boys Catholic high school. According to Brian Dowley in a Boston Herald article of February 26th of 2017, he states that Perez went on to get his degree at Brown University, where he paid through college by working on the back of a garbage truck. Daly continues to tell us how he went on to work at Harvard, or went to Harvard University to get his master's degree, and he was able to work as a law clerk for Attorney General Edwin Massey. He worked continuously for helping civil rights. One of his most famous cases, he helped African Americans that were targeted against white supremacists. He's recognized for all his work and his work as the Worker Exploitation Task Force that helped vulnerable immigrants. Next, I want to talk about his work and accomplishments as Secretary of Labor. So, as Secretary of Labor, his role and accomplishments include, well, he has to oversee the department as itself and focus on the labor unions as well as workplaces. He was chosen by President Obama and was part of the president's cabinet, and his nomination was historic. He received all Democratic votes and 0 Republican votes, and that was pretty just amazing for him to do that. He made changes as extending the overtime rule for millions of Americans, as well as he worked one of his key roles was raising minimum wage for millions of Americans, as well as protecting retail workers. He ended the Verizon strike that lasted 2 weeks, and he ended it after like 2 weeks, and was able to show his work and accomplishments through that. Next, I want to talk about how his new position as chair of the Democratic Party will influence our world today. So he is the first Latino to ever be given this position. He won after a second round of balloting. He won 235 out of the 435 votes. And the first call to action that he made was give his opponent the deputy party chair. But it didn't stop there. So from then on, he needed to gain the support of both his opponent's followers and both Sanders' followers. So that was like very crucial and important for him. But he suggests that now we focus on talking to Americans, to American families, house by urban and rural communities, and nominating people who value the standards of our community. Finally, we must rebuild the Democratic Party. He must rebuild the Democratic Party by either, because of the loss of the electorate loss, and or changing progressive policies. But in conclusion, I hope you all now have an understanding of who Tom Perez is. He's really a man of the people, and his influences and experiences will really determine the next election. In the speech, I talked about where he came from, his education, his work as Secretary of Labor, and his work that he's planning, his goals and accomplishments for his new position. But I hope you all have an understanding of that and how important diversity and the American dream is for him. Thank you.